Don't tell me it's not in the rules. Welcome to Heroscape, where the rules are made up and points don't matter. What's that a quote about?
Oh, from whose line?
Oh.
Where the jokes are made up and the points don't matter.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You should have that for your tagline for this channel.
We already did that one. I think that was one of our first ones.
Man.
Come on, you got to brush up on your tagline lore.
I've watched all of your videos, but I guess I didn't remember that one.
It's okay. We don't expect everybody to remember all our taglines, although it would be fun to do a quiz at some point.
10 points under quiz. How many frogs make up triple frog? It's 3.
Joke's on you, it's actually 4.
3 frogs in a trench coat.
3 frogs in a trench coat. Hello, friends, and welcome to 10 Points Under, where 10 points can maybe buy you 2 frogs, but not 3. My name is True.
And I'm Big a Bullfrog, and we've got a special guest with us here yet again today. It is one of the more well-known members on Heroscapers.com. I term him best boy of Heroscapers.com. It is Superfrog.
Hey guys, what's up?
Wow, best boy. That is quite the award. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel warm inside and cold on the outside. So,
is
it
cold?
Means to you.
Is it cold over there?
I live in sunny Los Angeles, so no.
Oh,
It's
well.
never.
All right then. All right. Well, Taylor, what do we have in store for our glorious fans today?
All right. So today we've got something pretty special. It is a game from a playtesting tournament that is going on over on Heroscapers.com. So what's going on is there are several designs in the public playtesting area of the C3V, which is the official, unofficial, custom continuation of Heroscape. For those of you who don't know, they've got tons of figures that they've released. And so what this tournament is doing is it's looking at bringing in some of the figures that are in playtesting and just, running a tournament with them, getting a lot of games in. And so yeah, that's what we've got here.
Cool. What special figures are we testing today?
Okay, so stay with me. I'm going to try not to say too many words. First off, I do have links to the armies, the figures, all the cards and stuff in the description below. So like if you miss it or, if you forget as the game is going on, because you probably will, we'll probably forget. We've got the cards up ourselves. But you can always go down to the description, pull up the cards, look at them, and that way if you're unfamiliar with anything, you can have it right at your fingertips. So what's going on right here right now is we've got on the left is Chris Perkins, a well-known vet of our 10 Points Under channel. And he's running a bunch of Morrow Drudge with the playtesting figure Retakshi. Retakshi is it's that kind of blobby looking figure in the middle of the map. I promise she looks a lot better in person. But
I was about to say that.
Yeah. The top down's a little unfortunate, but it's a good figure. But what she does is she's got swamp stuff. So we are coming into this game a little bit late, but at the beginning of the game, she gets to roll to see if she gets to emerge from swamp. If she rolls a 12 to 15, she can be placed on any swamp water tile on the map. And if she rolls a 16 or higher, she can be placed on any tile. Oh, sorry, not any space on the map. So any swamp water space within 10 spaces or any space within 10 spaces if she gets a 16 or higher. And so
very interesting.
Yeah, that's what happened there. Kind of like the Airborne Elite, she just moved up a bit.
So not just swamp water, it's swamp or water.
Oh, swamp or water. Okay.
So all those like level 3, level 4 juicy spaces in the middle, those are all good.
Ooh, I like juice. So
Nice. Yeah, that's even better than I was thinking it was. Yep. So, yeah. So, and then her other thing is that she gets to turn adjacent spaces into swamp water. So that's why you see a bunch of Morrow Dredge there. They get their swamp water bonus, +1 in attack while on swamp water, and she gets to turn spaces that are not the lowest space on the battlefield into swamp water.
Very cool.
Truly
Superfrog.
incredible.
I realize that you've probably seen some of these cards before. What is your thoughts on Rikakshi?
Yeah, so I've been very involved in this development, but basically our idea was to create a little mobile drudge thing. As Biga did say, we swamp water is always the lowest spot on the map. So given the pose of this figure, it's really just kind of rising. It looks like it's rising from out of the ground, and it's very slimy. So it was the perfect opportunity to create some like swampy stuff. So that's where we went with this direction. And it's been pretty cool playing her with the drudge, water elementals as well. So there's some fun armies that she makes possible.
Very interesting. All right, Taylor. What other figures do we got?
All right, so on the other side of the battlefield, we have Sir Heroscape coming to battle against Chris Perkins. Again, actually, this is a rematch of sorts. But Sir Heroscape is running, let's see. Oh, also, Chris Perkins has Tolbakra in his army. That's the one next to Ritakshi. Didn't mention that, but so for Sir Heroscape's side, he has 5 squads of the Beakface Sneaks, which are a C3V unit, along with the Quark War Witch, a Raptorian leader for the Beakface Sneaks, also C3V. And his figures that are in testing are the Clawfoot Interceptors. So he's got 2 of them. They're the white birds, 1 red, 1 blue, because they are uncommon heroes. Basically what they do in a nutshell is when they're moving, they can grab things. So they can grab small enemies and move them around much like a wyvern could. They can also grab smaller medium Raptorian figures, which are all the other birds, and move them around as well. And then
Oh, sorry.
Sorry,
yeah. The other thing is they do also activate from flocking on the Beakface Sneaks, and they can use their Clob Grab while they are flocking. So it can do all kinds of crazy movement stuff across the board.
Yeah. Lots of flexibility that they add to that. Basically lets you move 4 figures with flocking instead of the usual 2. They also have a dive bomb ability where if they fly during their turn and then they attack, they can add 2 attack dice to their attack. So pretty hefty attack swings that they can throw out there.
Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Pretty excited to see some of these new figures in play. It's not too often that we get to see and commentate on new stuff.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this opportunity. I think it'll be cool. And part of the reason why we're doing this, and something that I neglected to mention earlier, is that Superfrog is a prolific member of the C3V and is also in the C3V playtester team. He's one of the lead playtesters, and so it's basically his job to analyze the results of these games and how they go down anyway. So we brought him on to give us some awesome insights to basically, how he looks at a game, how he analyzes the figures being used, stuff like that.
Wow, that makes me sound like I'm important.
It's because you are important. Important to everyone.
Wow, thanks. That makes me feel warm on the inside and cold on the outside. I'm going to keep saying that.
It's almost like it's a bit. And if you are a viewer of the show, you will know that we love bits.
I'm a fan of bits.
Oh, yeah.
All bits.
All the bits, all the days. So yeah, I think that's about it. Also, Sir Heroscape does have Rygarn. He is the guy currently highlighted in his army. He's a Chronomancer, pretty cool. I don't know if Chronomage, sorry. But he does order marker shenanigans and also does temporal jumps. So he's pretty.
And he
cool.
keeps time.
Yeah.
It's like a quarter past a freckle and a hair or something like that. I don't know.
He does have a lot of freckles.
He also has this big metal mace gun thing. So, I mean, whatever. He does time stuff. Leave me alone. Don't at me. All right. Well, why don't we get her started up?
All right. We'll go ahead and hop right on into it.
All right. So it looks like Rygarn is going to be moving up. I don't know if I'd have Ritakshi so far up next to the sneaks and other evens. Thoughts? Concerns?
Well, this is a smaller map, so I think what Chris is going for mainly is just putting the swamp water on higher ground to boost the Morrow Drudge. And also, along with that, one cool thing about turning all the spaces around you into swamp water is that you turn road into water, which means you don't get a road bonus. So
that is
kind of bog down the feet faces a little bit like that.
That's pretty sweet.
Because it also bogs down your figures, which is not always the best thing in the world. So
that's true.
Pluses, minuses, some of both.
One might say it is balanced. Hmm?
Perfectly balanced as all things should be.
Just like the world. Thanos snapped his fingers and balanced his figure.
Thank you, Thanos, for our Heroscape balance.
That's right. And it looks like Sir Heroscape is getting the first attack of the game with one skull. I'll be honest, I haven't even looked at Ritakshi's stats yet, so it'd probably be helpful if I pull that up.
She's pretty simple. 4 attack, 4 defense.
Beefy enough, just like Kimoshi. Both the War Witches, 4 attack, 4 defense.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
So I was going to say earlier, the reason that Chris probably put her up there is you got those 2 level 3 spaces, which are pretty much the best height on the board. That will now be swamp water. So if you can get his Drudge up there, it's going to be prime attack grounds for his Drudgies.
Very fair point.
Yeah, very much agreed. I think more interesting is the Tolbakra placement right by Ritachi. Because Tolbakra can teleport Drudge figures in to, get them next to Ritachi. But that's just kind of an interest. He's basically teleporting them not onto the high ground.
Very fair points. Very fair points. Almost like I know exactly what these figures do, and I am just trying to fill in the blank space here. Yep, that's not what I'm doing.
True,
because I know exactly what these guys.
Yeah, no, it's okay. You're representative of our audience that does not know everything about C3V.
Of course I know everything. That's why I'm helping host this gameplay, of course.
Of course.
That said, superfrog definitely knows way more about these figures than I do. So, feel free to chime in, my dude.
I'll do my best, yeah. I will say I'm really not sure what Tolbak Ra is doing this army. If I was building this army, we would not have a Tolbak Ra in it. But
right.
Part of that's because I'm not as familiar with Tolbak Ra. So I don't know if I've actually ever played Tolbak Ra.
Oh, He's actually fun.
Yeah, I know the card, but yeah, maybe I should get some Wave 9 sometime. What do you think?
I support that idea. Tolbakra, he's one of my favorite bad figures. Actually, he's one of those figures who's also gets a lot of crap, but isn't quite as bad as people tend to think he is. Like he's not great if you're going into you're a tournament where everybody else is running fourth mass and Rats Railing Range and all that stuff. But if you're in a more casual tournament or one of the tournaments where, or just a game that's a little more lax, he's fun. He can do a ton of teleporting shenanigans, and super fun.
He seems very much more of a spicy play than a non-spicy play, that's for sure.
Right.
Then again, playing the Morrow Dredge seems pretty spicy in the first place, so who's to say?
I just want to note real fast, you see the Drudge running up and engaging the Sneak up there. Right? The Sneaks have evasive, so their defense is only 2, but +3 at range, if I'm remembering correctly. So brings their defense down from 6 to 3 to run all the way up there. He's not just trying to die real fast, I promise.
Well, that said, I mean, even the ranged attacks on the Sneaks tended to be pretty efficient.
Yeah, he did snipe him off with those 6 defense from that glyph. So it's like a 2-for-1 play. You get the glyph, you get the figure. Nobody gets hurt except for the birds.
The dang birds.
Birds, who needs them?
One might say bird is the word. Huh?
Yeah, one might say that.
I don't know who would, but I don't think I've ever heard anybody in the world say bird is the word.
Yeah.
And not in a song or anything like that.
That's right, because, I am super original and only come up with the most exquisite of puns.
So there was claw grab for the first time. So whenever the Sneaks attack a figure during their turn, they activate flocking. And so there was the Interceptor flying across the right side of the map and bringing a Sneak with it. So we're going to threaten that glyph down there. He's probably going to move the other Interceptor across the top of the map, if I had to guess.
Now,
bring Sneak with him.
Superfrog, were you involved in the Sneaks development at all?
So the Sneaks, let's see, that was an SOV card, and I think they were passed in like 6 years ago. And I'm trying to remember if that was one of the first cards I reviewed, or if it was one of the first cards that passed while I was a judge. I actually cannot remember. Actually, if you pull up their book, it'll say whether I reviewed them or not. But I'm not. I do know I at least reviewed them either for my application to become an SOV judge or as like my first thing. So, I go back with the Sneaks all the way to the beginning. So, yeah.
Very, very cool. I was just curious because Sneaks Attack just seems like the best team name ever.
Is that the team name for the birds?
I would assume
it could be. It could be.
It could definitely be.
Sneaks Attack.
Sneaks Attack.
Let's see. What's the rolling going on right now? What is he rolling for? Is that the?
See, he rolled a
I don't
D20.
Oh, it's probably for the glyph thing.
Right.
Do you want me to explain that, or you want to explain that, Bigga?
The glyph? I'll let you explain it because while I know what it does, I'm not incredibly familiar with it.
Sweet. So
We'd like
this
to
is
hear your voice.
I love my voice, so hopefully all the viewers love my voice as well. So this is C3V glyph. We haven't put out many glyphs, but this is one of them. So it's the glyph of, I think you say Zipta. I think I've heard some people say Skipta. So however you want to say it at home. I promise I won't come to your house and tell you to stop saying it that way. But if you control the glyph at the end of the round, basically for the next round, you get to roll the D20 if you roll 11 or higher. Then they have to take 2 order markers off of their cards and move them to a different card. So you can switch 2 order markers, something like that. But oftentimes that's really not what you want to do after you place your order markers. And since it's a 50-50 shot, there's really no telling, right? If you try to switch them yourself, it doesn't benefit you at all.
Very
you can
fair.
actually see in the chat, I don't know what that roll was for either. What was that roll for? Yeah. So he's going to move Retalk She, thinking about whether to move her, but I think she's in a pretty good spot. Like I said, those level 3 spaces are pretty good. If she moved 2 spaces downwards, right, she'd have the level 3 and the level 4. The level 4 doesn't have as great line of sight across the map, at least as I see it. So pluses and minuses, but I think the spot she's at right now is the best. Of course, Chris looks like he's moving up, so that way you can get the 4 and the 3, and maybe a couple more on the level 2. So also not a bad play.
Yeah, not a bad spot for him to take. I think the one thing that I do worry about that, well, I mean, this was kind of the worry that I had in general with Ritakshi's placement in that area, is that that's a good spot for a sneak or even a Clawfoot Interceptor to fly in and get a big swing down if Sir Heroscape takes initiative.
And one might say it's even a sneak attack.
Wow.
Oh, true, making all the sneaky puns.
That's right. It's almost like bears, because you can always make a billion bear puns, but just a little different because they're birds. Because they have beaks.
Well, they've got
beaks is like the same word as bears, but just with the different letters.
Oh yeah, 100%. Except without, but with a K, and yeah, and rearranged.
Speaking of rearranging, you can see there's some discussion about how the glyph goes in the chat, and I'm trying to tell them how it works. I don't know I think I succeeded in telling them how it works. Although you shouldn't trust anything I ever put in the chat. Somehow I am one of the online Heroscape judges as well, so which means my word is binding during a game. So I guess you should trust it, whether you should or not.
Is it contractual?
You know what I'm saying?
Is it contractual?
Yeah, it's in the rules. It says, listen up to the superfrog guy. He's not just making it up.
Oh, dang. That's cool and scary at the same time.
It's like the Michael Scott quote, right? Would you rather be loved or be feared? And then I think he says, I want people to be afraid of how much they love me.
Yes, The Office. Haven't quite made enough puns of that on the show.
I said that in a college class once, and very seriously, and my professor enjoyed it. So it might be deeper than you realize.
That just means that you win, right?
It does mean you win.
Oh, okay.
You do see he rolled a 7. You might have missed it. He rolled a 7 up in the chat right above the order markers, which means that after all that discussion, as you can see, the glyph of Zipta doesn't do anything this round. So
much discussion for nothing.
All into round 2. We're all into round 2.
Yeah, that's always how it happens. The more you discuss something, the less likely it is to happen. If you're really debating where you're going to move a figure and who you're going to attack, it just increases your likelihood of blanking against it.
That's right. Or you hinge your entire strategy around it and win.
So Rygarn gets to move order markers of figures. So he's moving the order marker that's on him onto the interceptor. Vega just called it. And we're going to have the dive bomb. So this is going to be 6 attack right down on Ritakshi.
So yeah, that's definitely a Sir Heroscape attack roll there. Getting 2 skulls on that sneak attack. Unfortunately, it wasn't with a sneak, so
not technically damage. Not technically a sneak attack.
It might be considered a snack attack.
A snack attack.
Chickens.
That's right. I think of them as eagles, but what's the difference really between an eagle and a chicken?
Flight.
Okay, that's one.
Yep. Technically, I don't know. Have you seen Chicken Run?
I have not seen Chicken Run, but I have seen chickens run.
So, well, there you go.
Pretty much the same thing. I wonder what he's going to do with his Drudge here.
I personally would try to take on the advancing forces of the sneaks going from the south, but
Well, so that's where this becomes an interesting matchup. Is the sneaks have evasive, as we mentioned, which gives them bonus defense dice against ranged attacks, and Chris Perkins is running a primarily ranged army. That said, there's a ton of swamp for the Drudge to utilize on this map, even without Ritaxi. So it's interesting because they both have strengths going for them, and figuring out how to use those best is just, I don't know, a puzzle.
Yeah, 3v6 isn't the worst odds. We've already seen it work once. And I'm sure it'll work again at other points in this game.
I mean, honestly, 6 defense isn't hard to crack. They only need to blank once, to be totally honest. But, I mean...
So you're saying they're just Deathwalkers?
Oh, yeah. I mean, everything's just a Deathwalker if you think hard enough.
The only difference is that he's got 10 of them, and usually you don't get that many Deathwalkers.
Or you could if you're a cheater.
That is always an option. I've heard a famous Heroscaper say, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. I'm sure he made that up, and it's an original quote.
100% original.
Yep.
Yep.
Wait, which Heroscaper? No, I'm curious.
I think it was Kinziv.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it
Checks out.
one of our online Heroscape organizer discussions. Man, those attacks of 4 really go through those Drudge.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I guess one of them was 3. Okay.
Well, I mean, when you roll 0 skulls twice, it's bound to happen.
Yeah, blanking is the quick road to nowhere.
Or just straight up failure.
Yes. I like failure.
Hey, without failure, we wouldn't learn anything. Am I right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Enough. You're right enough.
It's questionable.
So we got a bunch of flocking moves going on now.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to just move everybody up. Let's see what he does with this one. He has highlighted. See, that move is weird to me because you could move the interceptor back 1 space over top, then 2, 3, 4, 5, and drop him on the glyph, and move the interceptor forward, which lets you have the same access over to Ritaxi, but also gives you access down to the south start zone. I don't see why you wouldn't do that, but it's probably not a big difference.
Fair. I'm actually not really sure what Sir Heroscape's plan is here. The sneaks are pretty good at getting board control. It just seems that he sent that one way too far up. Got too aggressive with it.
I think he's trying to run around and get at the backside of the Drudge, where he doesn't have to run into the swamp water and be stopped by, well, 1, all the engagements, and 2, the swamp water.
Very
yeah,
fair.
Sir Heroscape is definitely a fan of the aggressive push into the start zone and steamroll through it play. I think, though, what I'm looking at more is that interceptor that just died.
He just die.
Yeah, he moved it to attack Ritaxi, which was great, but he didn't have any follow-through for that. And so he got 1 wound on Ritaxi and then started going elsewhere with the sneaks. And so there's not really... It feels kind of like a disjointed attack. I think the attack on Ritaxi attempt would have been great if he had more follow-through to it, but with his sneaks now going all over the place, he just kind of threw that turn away.
Yeah, the one play that I like that I've used a lot with the interceptors is you go ahead and you do your dive bomb, right? You get your 6 attack, but then you take another turn and you disengage and you dive bomb again, right? Because when you activate flying, it goes for disengage, but you don't have to fly. It doesn't say you have to fly some number of spaces or anything. You could just dive bomb right there. So I kind of would have put the first order marker on the interceptor and then the second one on Rygarn. That way you can move it to the red interceptor if you need to, move it to the blue one if you need to. But if you get 2 attacks of 6, it probably is going to do a little better at working through Retoxie. Because once Retoxie's gone, at least this high point plot is just going to melt, you know?
Yeah.
Right, and even 4 attack down on Retoxie isn't that bad either. I mean,
right.
Wounds are wounds, so...
Yeah, if your interceptor dies, the worst case scenario is you send another sneak up there, and that's 4 dice, right? So if you put the first one on the red interceptor and then you use Rygarn to basically wild card the second one, you got a bunch of good options.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I really agree with that. And like a big part of the decision making that you generally have to make in Heroscape is going for the support heroes or going for the squads. Whether you're going to go for the guy who's boosting the squads or if you're just going to take out their number of attacks. And it seems like Sir Heroscape has kind of gone for both and hasn't really succeeded in either.
Yeah. The thing about Retoxie is she never gets order markers because she can move, or not very often, because she can move between rounds. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, all the order markers in this just go all on the Drudge. So you can totally see how taking out Drudge is helpful, but because it's not like if you take out Retoxie, it's going to change his strategy at all. It'll just, kind of weaken it.
Right. And where you already have extra defense against range and Retoxie, Maro boosted by Retoxie are going to have to be on that specific little circle around Retoxie. So he can keep his distance just fine, I think.
Yeah. Yep. And Drudge have that small range too, isn't it? 5? Isn't
it
5 range?
5 range. So this is a small map, so they will be able to hit a good amount of it, but it still gives Sir Heroscape a lot of freedom to set up as he pleases until he's ready to take on that pod.
You see he put his blue interceptor sideways so that the Drudge that's on level 4 can't see him. At least that's what I assume is the reasoning. Either that or it's a cooler pose.
Oh, definitely cooler pose.
Oh, yeah. It's like he's dabbing on his opponent or something.
We need those Fortnite emotes in online Heroscape.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Dude, we need Heroscape-based emotes. That would be so cool.
This is a good turn of rolling for Chris Perkins, getting blocked every single time.
Yep, a whole bunch of whiffs.
Yay. It's going to happen when you run Drudge. Oh, that's the end of the round, which means... Oh, that's Emerge from Swamp again.
Yeah. So she's got a chance to move again. I think her space is good right now, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't move her. I mean, except as noted, yep, Chris says he doesn't want to necessarily. Right, the level 2 space is fine as well. I think either of those are the good spots for her on this map. But yeah, he thinks she's good where she is, which I can't disagree with that.
Definitely not. I could see where Sir Heroscape would like that move.
Yeah, just move right some low ground somewhere where you can get dive bombed with 6. Yeah.
Maybe just right into the start zone for Sir Heroscape and...
Oof, got that glyph roll.
Yeah, Zip
did
does
get
trigger.
that glyph roll. So now he's got to take 2 of his order markers and place them on different cards than they were on originally. So if you'll see in the chat, the order markers will have some kind of random numbers after them. And so then, so that way you can know which order marker you're talking about.
So does the person on the glyph get to choose the two glyphs or the two order markers they're changing?
No, the person who placed the glyphs gets to choose which two they're going to move. Yep. So he says he's moving that one from the Drudge to Tolbach Ra, and the other one from the Drudge to Tolbach Ra. So you see he put all his order markers on Drudge, but now two of those have been moved to Tolbach Ra. Likely one of those was his X order marker, right? You can always move your X. But, of course, as you know, if you've played Heroscape, you only get one X.
Because X is going to give it to you?
I think that is why.
Of course.
And here I did think it was that Uptown Funk was gonna give it to you, but I guess you never know.
Yeah. All right. Accepted. Locked in. Uptown Funk it is.
So there you go. You got the glyph did something. So this order marker now is on Tolbach Ra. So we get to see what Tolbach Ra is capable of. Yay! Ooh.
Yay, indeed. We'll see what happens.
A rare Tolbach Ra in the wild sighting.
He's got that like psychic attack, right? Mind blast or something?
Yeah, he can attack through solid objects. Looks like he's going for the melee attack though.
That is a lot of dice right there. All 4. And so many of them did not go for skulls.
That's very true. That said, though, it's kind of an interesting position for Tolbach Ra, because then that interceptor can get some attacks in, and if it gets wounds, he can start teleporting some Drudge.
It's true. If I was Sir Heroscape, though, I would just ignore Tolbach Ra at all, wherever I could. But he's clogging stuff up in a kind of an annoying way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, that's 130 juicy points that you could just eat right there. Just eat it all up.
Wow, you were right, Bigga. He does like that start zone rush. Here I was thinking he would come around the back and kind of backdoor that Drudge by Retok Shi. There's 2 advantages to that. One is that, of course, if you get that one, that's good. And the second advantage is that it really prohibits moving others up that way if you are kind of on the road blocking there. You get a couple turns of reprieve from those attacks of 3. He got a kill, though, so you don't want to fall him too much.
Yeah, but he got a kill with one of the sneaks that were already engaged. I don't know. At this point, you could almost just ignore that sneak and just send your units up front and just start taking out the rest of his sneaks, and then then he's overcommitted to that one guy.
Yeah, we'll see if that sneak down there can do anything else, because I think it's unlikely that Chris Perkins puts much attacking power towards that sneak. So maybe he'll get 2 or 3 kills in.
Because that is one advantage to putting figures in your opponent's start zone, is it can set them off guard and even pretty defensively try to kill that one guy in their start zone. But at this point, it's not a whole lot of attack power going into the start zone. You might as well just focus on the main threat.
Right, especially because since the sneak is engaged, do sneaks have disengage?
No, I don't believe so.
Yeah, so since the sneak is engaged, he can just, move up. Basically, all of the ways are still open to him except for those 2 sneaks that are engaged. I mean, those 2 Drudge that are engaged. So it didn't do much tying down work. You see, he might shoot backwards with that one. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, or even, I mean, he just moved that one Drudge that's in the start zone adjacent to the sneak, and that gives him 2 attack against 2 defense, which are pretty good odds. I mean, I don't think that going for the vulnerable Drudge in the start zone in and of itself is a terrible idea, but I do think that doing it with only, 2 sneaks at a time is a great idea. I mean, the sneaks are a two-man squad, but you kind of want more in position to really hammer the start zone if that's the play you're going for.
Right. If you can get 2 attacks and then make sure you can get 2 attacks again the next turn, right? If you can kill 4 Drudge out of the start zone, that's pretty solid.
Right.
But Chris Perkins did a good job of having the Drudge on the road on the south side, southwest side, southeast side, sorry. It really, Sir Heroscape brought his sneaks over there. It didn't do anything.
Yeah, Chris just completely negated all of Sir Heroscape's last turn, essentially, by killing that sneak in his start zone, killing the sneak that was adjacent on road, and even taking a shot at an interceptor. Like, it just lost a loss of momentum for Sir Heroscape here.
Yeah. He's trying to get a little back. If he can get 2 kills here, but I don't think it's going to happen. 3 on 2, 3 on 2 again.
Yeah, it's looking pretty bleak a little bit.
Yeah, Sir Heroscape does still have a lot of points stocked up in his heroes with another interceptor Rygarn and the Quark Warwitch. But yeah, his sneaks have just not been pulling through for him. A couple of bad attack rolls there.
How do you guys feel about bringing the Warwitch up sooner?
I think the Warwitch is really good at, would be really good against Drudge, because she's got that, you can get 3 attacks of 2, which can do a pretty good job at clearing out Drudge. The issue is that she really dies to ranged attacks. So, right, whereas the sneaks are good against range, her defensive ability is only against melee attacks, so it's kind of, again, some pluses, some minuses.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what happens here. Actually bringing up the Warwitch right now.
Right. Hopefully it's not too soon. Hopefully he has a plan to use her quick because, I mean, like Superfrog said, with her defensive power only triggering against adjacent attacks, she could just get shot up pretty hard.
Yeah, he's still got the blue interceptor, and if he can clear out that Drudge on height, right, then there might be a play with again the claw grab or the dive bomb to get that 6 attack again. So we'll see if that comes up the rest of the game, or if the blue one just decides to die like the red one did.
Has Chris only lost 5 Drudge this whole match?
Yep.
Looks like it.
That is a big old yikes.
And 1 wound on Ritakshi, but yeah, that's the extent of the damage that he's taken. I think like this honestly feels a lot like the first game that we watched between Sir Heroscape and Chris Perkins in the Reverse the Whip tournament, which link in the description below. Check it out. Watch more of our stuff. But in that game, also, Sir Heroscape went for a really aggressive strategy, and Chris Perkins just really rocked the defensive plays, which just feels a lot like what's going on right here.
Yeah, that was the Knights versus Dividers.
Yep.
Well, not really Knights. I guess one squad of Knights.
Kind of Knights.
Kind of Knights. Evenings, you might say.
Evenings, indeed. Indeed. All right, we're looking at 3 sneaks, an interceptor, the Warwitch, and Rygarn and Marku. It's left. Lots of points in heroes on the board, but he's going to have to play some order marker management here.
Yeah, luckily Rygarn will help him with that in this end game, but I think really what he's missing right now is, and basically through the whole game, is just attacks per turn. Beak Face Sneaks being a 2-man squad, he only gets 2 attacks with them, and they just haven't been pulling through for him enough. He hasn't been building a mass enough. Beak Faces are pretty tough to play just because They do have good board control, but they're also really fragile, so it's hard to keep it.
Very true. I almost feel like slow rolling the sneaks a little bit more, getting an attack here and there, just to make the Drudge come up a little bit closer, since they don't have quite as far of a range to shoot from. Yeah, this, I'm not sure. I think just some of those kind of sporadic attacks at the beginning, like the one with the interceptor on Ritakshi, and some of them in the start zone, kind of just threw the momentum into Chris's favor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Like I said earlier, I think the one attack on Ritakshi with no follow-up just really killed momentum for Sir Heroscape. He does have both glyphs now, so maybe that swings things for him. I kind of doubt it, because they're both just initiative-based, but maybe.
One might hope.
You see, Ritakshi finally failed her rise from swamp roll, or emerge from swamp roll the first time. It worked every other round. This round, not so much. Sink back into swamp.
Superfrog already in there with it.
I didn't know I was going to be talking about this game, so I was dropping all my jokes in the chat. So you watch this one back, check what I said.
It's kind of like a replay, like a very subtle replay.
This was a couple weeks ago, so I didn't remember everything. Or actually, I didn't remember much, to be honest. I did remember, though, that the Drudge on the height is hard to get past, unless you got some serious attack power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Drudge are usually pretty pansy because they're generally at best 3 attack, 3 defense, but give them Swamp Water on height, 4 attack, 4 defense, pretty good.
Taylor, pansies don't grow in the swamp.
What is he supposed to be, a biologist? Take it from us. We're both frogs. We live in the swamp.
Yeah.
There's pansies everywhere.
I disagree, but all right. Okay.
It's a hybrid pansy lily pad.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was not informed with the hybrid lily pad pansy.
That'd actually be really cool.
It would definitely be interesting. Definitely would like to see that.
We got Zipta again.
Got the zip zop zippity.
Zip zop zippity. That's correct.
Indeed. All right. Is that a 1 from Chris on initiative?
Yep. So, and a 17 for Sir Heroscape with that initiative glyph.
So both of those rolls are auto wins for a Sir Heroscape.
Yep.
An auto win if you get above a 12. It's an auto win if your opponent gets below a 7, or whatever the math says. I majored in math in college. I should know.
Hey man, sometimes math is just hard.
Yeah, you see Sir Heroscape saying that his attacks at 4 have sucked. I've seen a lot of those 1 skull rolls out of 4, and that's if you know anything about math, you can expect 2, right? That's the expected value. So,
right.
1 is also, if you know anything about math, 1 is not as good as 2. So,
unless it's golf, but Heroscape ain't golf.
Well, you know, your last guest commentator is a big fan of disc golf. So I've been watching a lot, and it makes me think of Doc. So
disc golf, very interesting.
Yeah.
But you know what's worse than 1?
What?
0.
0.
Oh. 3 is worse than 1, right? 3 is a crowd.
3's a crowd, yeah.
3 is a crowd, especially if you have frogs.
Yeah, and 1 is the loneliest number, so like 2 is that sweet spot.
There we go.
That's why Superfrog is just 2 frogs in a trench coat.
And here I thought I was 3.
Yep,
In a
exactly.
trench coat.
But 3
I
is a
guess
crowd.
2 of you kicked the other one out, maybe? I don't
Yeah.
Or, hear me out.
Okay.
He's 2 frogs in a trench coat, but one of the frogs has 2 heads and 4 legs.
I thought I was going to be 2 frogs in a trench coat, but dressed up as a frog.
Oh.
That's what I thought.
So what are you implying that you're 2 humans dressed up as a frog?
No, 2 frogs dressed up as a frog. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You see the War Witch down there. She went up and engaged all 3. Oh, maybe she didn't. I was going to say she went up and engaged all 3 of them. Looks like she's just going for 1. She can't use her big multi-attack when she's engaged. And of course, she wants to be engaged so that the flutter thing works. So it's like, what do you go for here? Looks like
I think.
Not even sure.
Okay, he's going up there. Yeah, because I was thinking, engaging 3 Drudge. Sure, you can get Flutter against them, but Drudge have range, so he could just get shot by other ones.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. He's got a lot of Drudge left. He's got the ones on the height, a couple on still in the start zone.
Yeah, so I think this is the part, kind of like what Doc was talking about in our last video. You hit a point where you kind of just need the big swings, because if you don't get them, you're going to lose anyway. So
Right.
I think going for the multiple attacks is what he needs.
I got the disengage. There you go. Not bad. Not bad. Still, that's pretty good. Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. He went for 3 dice. I would not have gone for 3 dice. I would go. Honestly, I might try to go for 1 6 times if I could get. If I could get against the 2 defense Drudge.
That's actually a pretty decent strategy there. Because, I mean, like, you're bound to only get about 1 skull with 2 dice anyway. So, might as well roll 6 dice once. Get multiple attacks, potentially kill more.
And if you have, if you get through the 2 that you can see, and that have 2 defense, then throw the rest of your dice at the one that has 3 defense. That's how I would play it. From my experience with the War Witch. But it doesn't look like it matters much at this point.
Yeah, this is looking, again, pretty bleak, or should I say, pretty beak.
That was me laughing.
Oh, dear, true.
Yeah. That's what I call grade A quality content there, folks.
Oh, he rolled the wrong amount of attack dice.
Oh, snap. He had 1 more attack die there.
Yeah, it should have been 4. Because that Drudge is on level 4, attacking down. It's okay.
These new figures, the Drudge are basically new figures since they hardly ever get played. So
That's right. I think the real name that Chris used to submit his army, because the guy who set this the sign-up sheet up was Kevin Dola, and he likes named armies. It's one of his things. So he left a blank in there for army names, and the army for Chris's army is named "Are the Drudge Playable Now?" ? So like, not really a name, but it is the question that we are all wondering.
well, they're not looking bad here, except for that 0 shields that Chris just rolled.
Yeah, 2 good kills there. But, yeah, I mean, turns out if you've got a unit that makes swamp water all over the place, well, in one place on a map with more swamp water, Drudge are pretty okay.
Yeah, I think the other big thing on this map is that where Retoxi is right now, it's not accessible unless you come around the road. There's no other way to approach. So if you can focus a few turns of attacks, she does go down. Not that hard, but he just hasn't been able to put the attacks on her. So
yeah, Ritachi has had like one attack, I think, and that resulted in one wound and nothing after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. I think that's right.
I wonder if Sir Heroscape is even just wondering if Ritachi even matters, but I think it does. It's given the Drudge a lot of firepower.
Yeah, at this point, with there being 6 Drudge left, you definitely want to try to keep taking out the rest of the Drudge. Ritachi can be a kind of a decent figure in the end game. 4/4 stats aren't bad, but you do want to just get rid of as many attacks as you can. You see, he just ran away his War Witch because she's got enough move to get wherever she wants, and as long as she can't be seen.
Very, very true. Very true.
I just realized Ritachi is a War Witch. The Quark War Witch is, wait for it, a War Witch. So we got a witchy battle going on.
Which witch is which?
Should I tell you again? The left one. Sorry.
The blobby one on the left is. No, actually, yeah, no, that's a good observation. This is a battle right out of the Heroscape lore because the Raptorians and the Morrow are. Oh no, wait, no, that's the Vipers that hate the Raptorians. I guess the Morrow might have fought them, but.
Yeah, they're all from Mar.
Yeah.
All of them.
All of them.
Single one.
And the Gorillinators.
And Gorillinators.
That's where the Gorillinators were. Didn't you guys do a video with the Nikita agents recently?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
They're missing from that battle. They're missing from this one. We need to just bring some Gorillinators on screen right now.
Yeah, get on that editor.
We'll do it in post.
Don't make that promise for me.
Yeah, see, that's the glory of guest commenting is you get to promise whatever you want, and if it doesn't deliver, then it's not your fault.
That's right. Fake or false promises are best promises. Wait, what?
How about we promise some sweet Gorillinator art from True?
Oh yeah.
Don't put that black magic on me, there, sir. Or
I forgot
maybe
about your art.
I don't know. Yeah, I do some stuff and some things. Some stuff things. Stuff with things.
He even does logos. Or so he says.
I'm working on it.
I was going to say, if you do logos, there's a cool YouTube channel I've heard about that could use a logo.
Oh, right. I've heard of several, yes. One with 10 points in particularly that I'm still working on, but, whatever.
There's a little question going on in the chat right now about how Rygarn works. And yeah, you can use the order marker switching thing to switch from dead cards. I checked, it works. The rules say yes.
It's canon.
It is canon. In D by Pogglebell. Should we all sing it together?
Just thinking which part.
Was that singing or was that just me saying, you'll never know?
Exactly. That was us trying to keep tune there. Trying to get the right pitch.
We are going to tune to A equals 432 because that is the harmony of the universe. If you don't believe me, go look it up. It's a conspiracy, so
you should believe him.
True.
He's a mathematician.
Yep. Okay, I was going to ask where he's moving the order marker, but it was all theoretical. The more you worry about something, the less likely it's actually happening.
That's right. The more you know.
You wouldn't sing Pogglebell's canon, but you'll sing your own thing. I see how it is. I
mean, it's a thing. Stuff.
So what's Sir Heroscape's path to victory? If you were Sir Heroscape and you could draw it up just the way you wanted, what's he thinking right now as he plays his order markers?
At this point?
Yeah.
Honestly, I think you move the War Witch up to where she can get 3 attacks on the Drudge that are right next to Ritachi, kills them, and then the Interceptor is able to just land, take out Ritachi, and just finish up the rest of the Drudge.
Yeah, so I think you go order marker 1 on the War Witch, 2 on Rygarn, and probably 3 on the War Witch as well.
Yeah, probably.
We'll see what he actually did.
Because there's still 4 Drudge left. If he can kill 3, that basically neuters all those order markers there.
It looks like 5. There's 1 on the swamp in the bottom.
Oh, you're right. I didn't even see that.
He's hiding.
He's hiding.
It's kind of hard to hide on a top-down. But he's doing his best.
Doing his best indeed. Yeah, I think he has to have a turn where he just kills 3 Drudge in a row. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way to victory at this point.
Interesting. I don't know I would go for that attack, but I guess he doesn't have the range for anything else.
Yeah, just taking pot shots where he's got him while he's got him.
Oh, nice. Good blanking.
Good blanking indeed.
Well, that's not blanking.
Yeah, that was a super defense. Rygarn was like not having it today.
He politely declined to get attacked. Said no.
He simply just vetoed the attack. He's like, nope.
Return to sender. Okay, so there's the War Witch, like we said. We'll see what he does.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's no really great spots for him to fly to, but he can just fly onto the 3 height in the middle, throw some Orb of Pain attack at some nearby Drudge.
Yeah, he can hit the one immediately to his left, and then is that the only 2? The one down below and the one to his left?
What's the range on it?
It only has range of 4, so
Gotcha. Okay.
can't quite hit a 3rd Drudge. But I mean, even if he can kill 2 right here, that's a good start to what he needs.
Yeah, it's more than enough.
Yeah, so I agree with his choice of 2 to attack here. He's got 3 defense on both of the Drudge he's going to attack. So you don't want to... Well, I was going to say you can't count on a whiff, but there it is. There's the whiff.
Every time, man.
And there's the other one.
That's
Yeah, I guess that was
need.
against 4 defense, not even 3. So that was the turn we went. So now I was going to say he's got to fill the gap, and then fill the other gap, the gap of the gap.
Did that
Gap
Drudge
of
just
Rohan.
move right through that sneak? Oh, that's
That's the
never mind,
Bopra.
That is
Tolbakra. Okay, my bad.
Yep. Poor
Oof.
Miss Q.
Luckily, the War Witch is pretty tanky. Has a lot of life.
Yeah, lots of life, low defense, but I mean, Chris got just aggressively average rolls right there, so not too much worry for him.
So let's see where the second one is. It's on the War Witch.
War Witch
Let's see if he
again? Okay.
Rygarns it over. That's probably actually the way to go, is War Witch all the way, and then Rygarn to
Wait,
change
is he
one,
doing
whichever one you want.
Switching over to Interceptor?
Switch it over to the
Interesting.
Interceptor, but you don't want to kill that one. I don't know. Maybe you do. But that's not what I would do if I was taking this turn.
I would attack up, right?
Well, if you attack up, he'll just fill it up with the
Oh, that's right.
low ground one.
Yeah, no, I don't know why he went with the interceptor right there. I would have just kept it on the War Witch and gone for a multiple kill again.
Yeah, because if you get, see what he can do with the War Witch is fly it over, kind of to the other side, and kill. If he kills the two on the bottom, then the one on the top can't get. Oh, I guess can just walk right through Retoxy. Never mind. Never mind. Don't listen to me.
Yikes! Insta kill
Oh, that is
too.
another dead interceptor.
Yeah, so after this round, I think this is from round 2 of this tournament. So after round 2, we kind of decided that we liked how the interceptors were playing, but they weren't staying alive long enough. So after this game, we decided to add 1 to the interceptor's life. So if you check out the public plays testing forum on Heroscapers.com, you'll see 4 life interceptors, which help them stay alive just a little longer. So yeah, that's one of the kinds of things we look at. Like the powers, great stats, we like where they're at, but they're not staying alive quite long enough to get the utility that we were looking for. So this game was part of that change.
Way to go, Chris Perkins and Sir Heroscape.
Down with the war. War Witch. That's the one. Wow, stumbled over that one.
Yeah, it's interesting. It looks like Sir Heroscape resigned here, which is a little odd to me because Rygarn has the vanish power, the temporal jump power, sorry, and he can stay alive. I've had games where he stays alive indefinitely, and he's got attack of 4 at range. Just hop him up onto that level 4. Yeah, I think he could give the whole other army a run for his money by himself. But
at this point, I think Sir Heroscape is a little downtrodden too. I mean, his attack rolls haven't been the best, and neither is his defense rolls. So I can get it.
Yeah, I'm still really confused about that last interceptor turn. I think going for multiple turns with the War Witch. The interceptor and Rygarn would be fine against the heroes if he was able to take out the Drudge, and the War Witch was his only path to that. But yeah, Rygarn's great. He could potentially take this out. He's almost like a ranged Isamu, but not quite as bad.
I think Sir Heroscape was thinking 5 attack dice down on that interceptor is almost like a guaranteed kill. So if he could limit the attacks down to 2 rather than 3, he'd have a pretty good shot. But I think the War Witch was just a better play at this point, because if he killed 2 Drudge, that just completely neuters Chris's attack power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then the rest of his army, Rygarn, Interceptor, Marku, they can all deal with single attack figures.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, very interesting game. Just wrapping things up in the chat, it looks like. Any final thoughts from you two?
Yeah, I watched this game live. It's my second time watching it, I guess, but I really liked how Retoxy worked this game. So that was kind of nice for me when I was watching it. Like the Drudge are still not going to be that good. Like if you have to sink 80 points into a cheerleader to make them just as good as the Stingers, like do the math. It doesn't really add up unless you got 8 squads, which that would be a lot of Stingers or Drudge. But the places that Chris Perkins put are kind of really tipped this one, because she was just out of the way the whole time, didn't get attacks. But yeah, it's always good fun to watch playtesting games. I run a lot myself, and I know Bigga runs a lot of playtesting for SOV, and I do that as well. But it's always cool to watch what other people decide to do. It's like 1 step better than reading a report, or 2 steps better than reading a report, and it's not as much work as doing it yourself. So it's like the best of both worlds.
Very, very good insight there, Superfrog. I really enjoyed that. Taylor, I am almost terrified to ask you, do you have any final thoughts?
About the world?
About how you can be warm on the inside and cold on the outside.
It's
a bit
there. That's bit. Right. The world is glorious. But yeah, no, I agree with Superfrog. I really like watching playtesting games and just watching figures as they develop. I really appreciate the insight that Superfrog is able to bring to this. Like, for example, seeing how the interceptors are working and how they're working okay, but they need a little bit more survivability for their points. Seeing how Ritakshi's working and, seems like she's working really well. Seeing how she's able to bring new play styles to the game. One thing that I thought was really cool as I've paid attention to the tournament was, knowing that she was made to help some Drudge, but also working with like water elementals and stuff like that is probably my favorite use of her, actually. I don't think I've got any of those games recorded, but it's a cool army. But yeah, it's really cool to just see how things develop out.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought of that one. I tried microcore agents. It didn't work very well, so but I did try it.
I'd almost want to see like a Kurok Ritakshi water elemental army. Mm-hmm. I think that would be very spicy and to see what would happen.
Somebody's running one of those. I think they call it the splash pad.
Yeah.
Splash pad.
I think it's worked pretty well too, actually. I haven't been paying super close attention, but I think it's done pretty well.
It has won at least one of its games against a pretty good army, so...
Next, we just need to try it with the Sahuagin Raider and see if it fixes that as well.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Well, that was very cool. Thank you guys for tonight's video.
Thanks for having me on. It was fun.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Superfrog.
That was very pleasant.
Yeah, well, the world is a beautiful place, to quote one of my fellow frogs.
It certainly is. Anyway, at this point, I have been your host, True Murray. You can find me in all the social media networks and on this YouTube channel, 10 Points Under. If you'd like, please like, comment, subscribe for more. And...
Oh, and I've been your co-host, Big Bullfrog. You can find me in Logan, Utah. Just south of Main Hill, a little bit west, but yeah, I sleep there.
Taylor, you're not supposed to tell people where you live because then you could get doxxed.
Oh. Oops.
Are we worried about bots on this channel? The Russian bots?
I mean,
they've been invading Heroscapers, so
that's true.
There is always the chance.
I did see the user today, bad credit, so if you have bad credit, you know where to go.
Oh, it's really bad when Russian bots have to go onto Heroscapers. I mean, Heroscapers, I love it, but it is a pretty old website. Like, it could use an upgrade.
Yeah. Well, the best upgrade would be for, I don't know. The best upgrade would be to just install something that said, if you're a bot, you can't come here. And then the bots would probably stay away.
Yes. It's kind of like a do not allow bots into our clubhouse sign. Just no.
Yeah.
Yep.
No girls allowed. I'm sorry, bots. No bots allowed.
Yeah, no bot allowed.
Yep.
All right. Well, that has been the show. So, it's been fun, everybody. Bye, guys.
Sweet, thanks.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, wow, all of us tried talking at once. That was great.
Yeah, we planned that. It was 100% planned.
We went 3, 2, 1, go.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
We're getting ready for our musical segment.
Yep, Canon and D.
Stay tuned for 10 Points Under After Dark for our musical portion of the show.
Doesn't After Dark usually signify something?
That's for the audience to decide.
Okay, I'll stop. the galaxy brain play, which is play with the fire elementals so that they get 0 defense.
Oh,
There you go. That is Galaxy Brain to the max.
Because then that'll make your opponents engage them to attack them, and then you burn them. 3,000 IQ.
3,000 IQ. No, better yet, you play it with Avernus, and then you place both of them together and just wait for them to engage Avernus, and then you just walk around and kill everybody.
Oh, there you go. There you go. But don't do too many spoilers, because Avernus doesn't exist yet.
Oh, well.
Actually, I don't want to say I just saw the final card today, but I don't want to say that.